Hi everybody. I'm just fixing my earrings using my camera as my mirror today. So just pop on and say hello and forgive me for looking so tired and unplugged. It's been a day. But it will soon be over and I get to go rest and have a good nap. But anywho's, it's all good. It's just been a day. Have you ever had one of those days where it's not bad? It's just a day. It's just busy, busy, busy. Things. Yeah. So, hey, Rachel. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm pretty excited to be talking about this topic. It's one of my very, very favorite topics, especially for working with energy. I'm going to bring up some notes. I want to let you guys know that this is not a professional studio. I don't have a producer, director, or cameraman. Nothing fancy like that. It's me and my laptop. When I'm looking in this direction, I'm reading notes. When I'm looking in this direction, I'm reading comments. So excuse me if I'm just back and forth and I look a little crazy because my eyes are moving so funny. But anywho, there's a lot to say and I didn't want to forget any of it. And while we're waiting for people to pop on, I just want to again extend a special invitation to you guys to please consider joining me for the 2021 Divine Feminine Shamanic Retreat in Hot Springs, Montana. I'll talk more about it and there will be a link in the description of this video when I pop off. So you can always reach out to me, but I'll fill you in on the information as we go along. But if you are joining me in replay after this video posts, you can still reach out and contact me with a direct message via YouTube or my website, which is going to be in the description of the video. So anywho's, yes, I've been busy putting things together. I'm really excited to tell you that I have the first day all outlined and we are going to be jumping right into the retreat on that very first day with our very first shamanic journey as specifically to bear so that we can invite that energy into the entire retreat for the whole weekend. I don't want to wait for that. I want you guys to really experience that bear energy right off the bat. So anywho's, got the whole day planned out for you. And I'm pretty excited about how that's going to work. And I also wanted to remind you, if you have any concerns about COVID safety and things like that, I got you covered. I'm going to have sanitation stations all around our workspace. I'm going to include these really sweet, cute bear masks in your swag bag. And though we may not always be 6 foot apart when we're doing our work, we will be. So when you're journeying, when you're doing your crafts, yes, crafts, you're going to make stuff. When you're doing all that, you'll be 6 feet apart. But yeah, so I really have made an effort to make sure that no matter where we are in our recovery, as a country, that you guys will be safe, okay? So don't worry about any of that. And it's in Hot Springs, Montana. The hot springs water is piped right to your hotel room. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, so you're going to love it. It's going to be fully supportive for our theme, which is self-care is a sacred act. I've got more announcements on that topic. Stay tuned, because this girl's going on the radio and gonna be interviewed about this retreat. So I'll give you the details of that later. Anyways, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, Rachel, so we're not here until 9 o'clock jibber jabbering. Don't forget, Rachel, anytime you have a question or a comment, just pop right in. I promise I'll be checking out those comments, okay? And before we get started, you guys, I just want to remind you that I am not a physician. I am not a scientist. What I share you on our wellness journeys is strictly based on my own experience, okay, really. What I have put into practice and what has worked for me. Now, on that note, I would say that I'm looking for product review suggestions. If there's a book, a CD, a product, a food item, anything that you want reviewed, please just go ahead and send that suggestion to me. I would love to do that. Okay, so just let me know. All right. Now, I said I wasn't a doctor. I'm also not a physicist or a scientist, but I do have some rudimentary um, understanding and experience about what a frequency is and how it works and what it does. So I will tell you that literally, and I do mean literally, everything in existence materialistically has a vibration. Excuse me, let me back up, has a frequency. Everything in existence has a frequency. My little strawberry sorbet lip balm has a frequency. Let's see. This this bottle of hand lotion, the plastic and the lotion, has different frequencies. Um, my cell phone has a frequency. Everything, my body, my everything has a frequency. Our food, the water, everything, are you getting me, has a frequency, okay? Those frequencies put off vibrations. And now I want you to really kind of understand the kind of like trail of energy. It begins as a frequency, it turns into a vibration. And it's the vibration that we are feeling and that we're picking up. Okay, but it is initiated by a frequency. Any questions so far? I'm going to turn to my notes because I'm already feeling like I'm rambling. So I'm just going to kind of like give you the bare bones of that. And that first statement is pretty much it. Okay. Everything I say after that is based on that understanding that everything has a frequency and that frequency gives off a vibration. Okay. Just like a light source gives off light, frequency gives off a vibration. Okay. So, when frequencies are measured, they are measured by wavelengths, okay? Much like the sound that comes from our mouth when we're talking is measured by wavelengths, so is all frequency, okay? There's some really high-tech scientific equipment that can measure the minuteness, frequencies, and everything. Now, keep in mind that the frequency of the plastic of this lip balm is pink. We can see the frequency because it's giving off a color that we can see. Okay, that too is a frequency. All right, so it's not just sound, it's also light waves. It's sound waves and light waves. It's all frequency. Okay, so the lower frequencies move in wide and long patterns, very shallow, okay, very shallow, long waves. Those are low frequencies. Now, when we think about energy, just, we talk about energy all the time. So when we're thinking about energy, can you imagine what the energy is of something that's moving really, really slow and long? It kind of like brings to mind the music that we hear in movies. That when it gets really tense and scary and spooky, the music gets a very low bass tone. The sound is moving slower and it's lower. That's how energy is. Energy, when it's negative, when it's not optimal for keeping you feeling vibrant and healthy, it's because it's moving slowly, long waves. Conversely, good positive energy has very short waves that are very high and short. So for instance, going back to our our movie analogy, when things are all uplifted and airy-fairy, you start hearing tinkling bells. The sound gets uplifted and higher vibrating. those are signals that tells us that the energy is better, okay? And it's true. It's not just representation, it's an illustration of a fact that when energy is high, it has a tinkling sound. That's why when you go to clear your house, you don't do it with your low sounding bass, instruments. You go through with your higher vibrating bells and cymbals and tambourines and stuff to move that energy out and replace it with some higher vibrating energy. That is how frequencies work. And it's important that you understand this in the way of your wellness, because when you understand how frequencies translate into vibrations, you can better translate the vibrations that you're feeling. This is critical for people who have an empathic gift. It is critical that you understand the vibrations that you're feeling so that you can respond to them appropriately. You get to determine if they're coming from you, an external source, what the dealio is. You can reject them, accept them, and all that kind of stuff. It's critical that you understand frequencies, all right? It's also important for those of you who want to literally use frequency to change your life. And I do literally mean change it, because when you align yourself with a frequency, a particular healing frequency, you can then become resonant with it. Now, think back to all of those old TV shows. I haven't seen these in a long time of singers that, Memorex. If you're old enough to remember Memorex and their cassette player commercials or cassette tape commercials, they would have a singer, singing into this glass, chalice, and it would shatter. Well, it's because the lady's voice became resonant with the same frequency as the glass. Now, this doesn't mean that every time you match yourself with the frequency, you're going to shatter. No, that's not what this is about. This is about becoming resonant with the frequency so that you are one with the frequency. One with the frequency, okay? And that way it can get into your cellular membranes and literally do its work. And you might ask yourself, well, how does that happen? How do I get this frequency in me? Well, there's just so many ways, and I'm going to show you a few of them tonight. One of my favorite ways is YouTube. I'm going to leave a link to a library that I'm building on this channel of all kinds of different frequencies. Reading your comment, Rachel. Hang on. See, you get it. You absolutely get it. That's exactly right. That's exactly what's going on, Rachel. So I'm glad that you understand the connection. Absolutely. So like I was saying, YouTube has a million of video options for frequencies. And what I really like about these videos is that you could choose to listen to them for like an hour or for all day. They've got like 9 hours, 12-hour frequencies. And sometimes I'll just put it on and just have it playing as I go about my day. If I'm sitting here working on the computer, if I'm cooking or cleaning or doing anything else, entertaining people, somebody will be sitting here in the living room with me, and it's playing in the background, and we're soaking up this vibration, this frequency. Because I say vibration because when it hits our ears, it's a vibration, but it's the frequency that is driving that vibration. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let me go on and show you. Everybody knows this is a singing bowl. Got a hair on it. Hang on. When you strike it, the frequency is the tone that we're hearing. It's a high tone. The vibration is what's traveling all throughout the house. So when I go through my house doing energy clearing using the singing bowl, it's breaking up all of the energy that doesn't match its high resonance. Okay? Now I've got quite a few singing bowls for all kinds of different vibrations I want in my home. That was one. Here's another one. Now that was lower in tone, but you notice how it's not a bass sounding tone. It still has a very high pitch. Listen again. I might have hit it too hard. So yeah, so you can change the vibration. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it sing because I'm holding it. But there's that. And so, like, I don't know what these bowls are tuned to, what specific scale notes or anything. I bet a musician could tell you, but I am not that musician. However, my crystal singing bowls, I do know what they're tuned to. This one is tuned to the third chakra. Excuse me, second chakra. It's tuned to the second chakra, carnelian in the handle. And when I strike it, I can feel that vibration going all the way through these crystals into my hand. And my other singing bowls are tuned to specific chakras as well. So yeah, so that is one way that you can infuse yourself with specific frequencies is by using singing bowls, videos on YouTube. Let's see. I have a whole list here. Binaural sound waves. So there are some videos on YouTube where you can kind of listen to it throughout your day. There are others, though, that can sync your brain. They're called binaural listening, okay? So you have headphones on. You have to listen to them through headphones. And this sound is literally like almost coming alive in your head. And it just kind of travels throughout your entire body. Your whole body starts kind of like resonating to it. It's a really cool experience. And it's a way of putting yourself into almost an altered state. I would say an altered state for sure, but not always like altered up in your mind, just in your body becomes altered. Okay, you become more fluid, more receptive, more whatever is the frequency that you're listening to. And as I demonstrated with the bells, there are lots of different frequencies out there, lots. And I'm going to talk to you about some of them before we end this little session here. Now let's see, I'm reading my notes. The higher the frequency, the stronger and more positive the energy. Conversely, the lower the frequency, the lower the energy. And also, I want us to just personalize this for a minute. We too have frequencies, not just our body, but our emotions can change the vibration of our body because we've changed the frequency through our emotions. And I want to just illustrate this by talking about anger, how you can change the whole atmosphere of your home if you step into it angrily, okay? I know for a fact that sometimes I'll come in and I'll be upset and I'll flip on that light switch and I'll blow out my lights because the vibration, the frequency that I'm emitting comes out of my hand as a vibration and affects, you know, the light switch and blah, blah, blah. It's a chain reaction. It's the same thing happens with all of our emotions. When we're happy and upbeat and feeling positive and joyful, then other people around us are picking up on that and we can affect that too. We can affect them, okay? So I'm just saying it's important to understand how frequencies and vibrations work because they are a part of us. They are a daily part of us and they are kind of like our calling card. That's why when I was in the corporate business, before I would go into a meeting, even if I knew that meeting was just going to be the worst thing ever and I was not going to appreciate being there, I would just take a moment to myself and just change my own frequency. I did not want to set up an even worse encounter or interaction with somebody because I'm all hyped up and upset and frustrated, and that people would read that and it would just make the situation worse. So I always took a minute to just calm myself before I walked into any meeting. And it just really helped people to be more open to what I had to say. Okay, if that makes sense. They felt safer, more receptive. Because I was open, they could be open. Does that make sense? It's really important to understand for your own wellness, and let's get there. Because, oh, Rachel, see what I'm saying? Yes, cats are the same way. Most animals are. Horses are super sensitive to energy, super sensitive. But yes, cats and dogs, they can't really read our facial expressions. They're reading the energy that's coming off of us. Absolutely. And thank God they are so loving, and willing to be there and help you. Yeah. I want a dog so bad. I want a dog so bad. I could just, yeah, hopefully I'll get one. So let me just check my notes here. So I talked about empathy and why it was important to understand frequency and vibration if you're an empathic, okay? The same goes if you are trying to manifest something. The more conscious effort you put into your project, your magic, your prayers, your however you're manifesting things, the more energy and effort that you put into it, the more successful the outcome is going to be. The very least that you should do when you pray is to do it from a place of trust, faith, belief, love, not from fear, doubt, wishful thinking, that kind of stuff. That changes the whole vibration. The whole frequency is out of whack. And so what you're going to end up with is either an unanswered prayer or something that you truly didn't want because the universe was responding to your frequency and not your words. You can say all kinds of words, but they mean nothing if the right frequency is not behind them. So that's another reason why it's so important to understand and work with frequencies, okay? So let's just go down a list. I'm going to copy and paste this list over to the description of the video when I post this video, but let me just go over it now. So I'll just say that my favorite frequency to work with is the 528 frequency. Now, the numbers means how many hertz, the Hertz, the frequency is moving, okay? It determines the wavelength pattern that I was talking about earlier. I'm starting to get a cramp in my hip, so if you see me shuffling around a bit and switching sides and stuff like that, don't mind me. I might have to stand up for a minute, but let's see what happens. So, the 174 frequency removes pain. So if you're having pain, whether it's post-surgical, pre-surgical, menstrual, a headache, you bumped your head, it doesn't matter. Put this frequency on and allow yourself to just sink into it. And allow that frequency to take that pain right away. As it moves through your body, it could just keep on moving and taking your pain with you. It just puts you in resonance with no pain, okay? The frequency 285 influences energy fields. So if you've created a circle of power to do magic or anything, you can imbue that area with this frequency. And when I say influences, I mean it empowers it, okay? It makes it stronger. It's like putting a protective bubble around it. You're going to do that with your intention anyway, but why not strengthen it with a frequency? Then you have the 396, and it frees you from feelings of fear and guilt. Fear and guilt both go hand in hand. Fear and guilt. Again, it's just a matter of allowing that frequency to move through you and to make changes, and then to continue to allow it to work through you by not going back and revisiting the fear and the guilt. Okay? It doesn't do any good to have these frequencies heal you only for you to go back to those same thoughts, all right, that created them. Let's see, then we have the 417. This frequency facilitates change. So if you're going through some major changes, allow this frequency to kind of support you, shore you up, give you the internal hugging that you might need, okay? The 432 is what they call the miracle tone. It's in every piece of music that has ever been written. This frequency is embedded in it, okay? Also, it is the miracle tone of nature. So one of my suggestions for when you want to align with frequency and to for your own wellness is to lay on the earth and to allow the earth frequency to infuse you and to kind of support you and again change you on a cellular level. This is the tone of nature, really, the nature of everything. It's the 432. And then we get to my favorite, the 528. It literally repairs DNA. Now, when you go onto YouTube and you see that frequency in all the different forms it comes in, they talk a lot about it being ancestral influenced or have that the impact of your ancestors. And it's true because your ancestors live in your DNA. You wouldn't be here on earth if it wasn't for the eons and eons of ancestors behind you. And they continue to live in your DNA. So that frequency helps to repair DNA. It helps to put you in touch with the ancestral wisdom. It's a beautiful one. It's one of my favorites. It is my favorite. Then we also have the 639. This one heals relationships, not just marriage relationships, but all relationships, even generational relationships, okay? So that is the 639. The 741 awakens your intuition. So if you're working on increasing your intuition, especially around empathy and things like that, you want to listen to the 741. Oh my gosh, my hip, I don't know why it's bothering so much today. Let me shift a little bit more. Then we have the 852. Now this is an interesting one because it kind of becomes like a beacon. It helps you to align with other people that match your frequency, your personal frequency. It attracts your soul family, okay? It helps to attract your soul family. So if you're feeling like you don't have community, you might want to start working with that frequency. And that was the 852. And the last one I have to talk about is the 963. This one is very, very powerful. Now, one of these days, not for the Wellness Wednesday sessions, but one of these days, we're going to do a little presentation on the 369 and the 963. Because those two sets of numbers are like the building blocks of life, okay? Tesla talked a lot about it. It's a very strong manifesting energy. And the 963 actually connects you to the higher realms. So if you want to start working with angels, visiting Akashic records, things like that, you're going to want to work with the 963 numbers or frequencies. Was that a bunch of confusing mess, or did you guys understand that? Again, I will go ahead and post this over to the description of the video, as well as a link to this channel's frequency playlist. And I update it quite frequently, not lately, but I will. But and if you have suggestions that you want to add to it, shoot it to me and I'll go ahead and add it to the folder, okay? But that's a playlist that has not just all the frequencies, but varieties of the frequencies, because what I like to listen to, you might not like to listen to. And just remember that these frequencies are built into the music that you're hearing, okay? So if a particular song or piece of music isn't really resonating with you, pick another one that has the same frequency that you want to work with. There's hundreds, thousands of them out there. So yeah. So I'm just, oh, you're very welcome. So if do you have any questions for me, Rachel? I'm just going over my notes to see if I forgot anything. Ooh, I'm gonna have to stretch my leg out a little bit. Hang on. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness I have an amethyst biomat. I'm gonna have to get on it. The cat's on it right now, but she can move over and we can share it. So before I go, I want to also make a couple more announcements. If you don't know, for Sunday's coming up, and that is our Self-Care Sunday session, and I would love it if you guys met me there, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are going to be working with our favorite little self-care oracle deck. It's here somewhere, and do a small little guided meditation around whatever card we pull. What does that first part mean, Rachel? I don't, oh, have any questions? Thank you. All right. Yes, you're going to want to explore that 936 for real. And I'm sure I have some of that in the playlist, so go look for that. But join me for self-care. I did create a couple of new classes. They are on my website. One is the 9 Steps to Divinity. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It's a very intensive exploration of the chakra system and how you can work it, how it works and how you can work it, okay? And because of Rachel here, I have created a 12-month Manifesting Miracles Through Magic class. And so that is also on the website, but ask me for details if you need it. And I'm also working on the winter edition of our Saying Yes quarterly newsletter. And I'm really excited about that. If you are not already a subscriber to that quarterly newsletter, please pop onto my website and hit that subscribe button and you will be signed up. That issue will be out on winter solstice. And we are continuing our journey with our manifestation jar. So anywho, stay tuned for all the details on that. And let's see where else. Oh, if there's any topics that you want me to cover on our Wellness Wednesday, please shoot those to me, especially any product reviews that you'd like me to do for you. And yeah, I think that's it from all my announcements. Is there anything else you guys want? It's just you and me, Rachel. Is there anything you want to talk about? I'm here for you, girl. You know I like to jibber jabber. Let me close out my notes. Did you guys, did you, Rachel, get the last edition of the newsletter? It was the debut edition, actually. It was sent out on fall equinox. Yeah, I'm loving writing that. So I'm working on that and the retreat and my book of poetry that I was going to try to have published by now, but I am having a hard time with the artwork. So it'll probably, I'm shooting now for International Women's Day. International Women's Day, I hope to have that book published. Well, if you don't mind, Rachel, I'm going to add you to the email list, okay? And you'll just get it. It's kind of brief. I tried not to put too much into it because I know people are inundated with, their groups and their newsletters and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to keep it kind of brief, but yet it's very impactful information. So, all right, will do, Rachel. Thank you. I will make sure that you get that. And because it was just you and me, it's a very short session, but I enjoyed it. Do you have any questions, Rachel, about frequencies, vibrations, how you can use them, anything like that? You can actually use frequencies to charge your water, okay? Now, this isn't going to work if you're listening to it through headphones, but if you've got a speaker or even in front of your TV, just put your glass of water so that it can pick up the vibrations that are coming through the speakers, that kind of stuff. And then drink it or bathe with it. For what, honey? For all crystals have their own frequencies as well, okay? So they're very specific, just like the frequencies that I listed for, like, alleviating fear and guilt and, healing relationships and all of that. Crystals are the same way, their own little frequencies. So there are some crystals that if you wanted to amplify a frequency, just use clear quartz. Clear quartz crystal is your God crystal. It does everything. If you didn't have a citrine and you were trying to manifest some money or something, you could program your clear quartz crystal to act like a citrine. Does that make sense? Clear quartz crystals do everything, and they do amplify the frequency of all things. So that's why you'll see them paired with other stones or embedded in certain things. I would go with clear quartz crystals or anything like that. Did that answer your question, hon? Yeah, I actually did a video about it, Rachel. I did a video about programming crystals. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll send it to you, okay? But that was quite a while ago, and I can't remember if I did it on the group site or on YouTube. But let me try to find that for you, and I'll send you a link because it's fairly easy. You have to know some things, especially how to be clear about your intention. You can't go willy-nilly programming clear quartz crystals to do stuff and you're not even clear about your intention yourself. You see what I mean? But that's about it. Once you get that clarity of intention, boom, the rest of it's a breeze. So I'll make sure that you get that for real. It's a good one. And going back to your original question about what crystals that would help with that, I think that any kind of double terminated crystal would help because you can point one crystal towards the incoming frequency and the other end of the crystal towards you. So yeah. We'll talk more about that, you and I, on a one-to-one when you get into your class. Yes, we will be talking about all of that, my dear. So don't you worry. I won't leave it out. But I will try to get you that programming video now so that you can start using it. I mean, why not? You don't have to wait for it to come up in class, but definitely we will be talking about it. So if you have nothing to do on Sunday morning, I hope that you pop back on with me at 10 a.m. and we will do our self-care ritual. I'm starting to really look forward to that. I'm having fun with that. And I'm really having fun coming up with that little guided meditation on the fly, and not having to struggle over perfect words, but just connecting with Goddess and letting it flow through me. So I really am enjoying that part of it. And I hope you guys join me. If you're watching this in replay, I'm here the first Wednesday of every month at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to help you learn ways that you can increase your own wellness and your sense of well-being. And then I am also here every first Sunday of the month to do a self-care ritual with you. So I hope to see you. We have fun. We have fun. Good, good, good. Thank you for joining me again, Rachel. I look forward to seeing you soon. And take care, everybody. Thank you. I love you guys. Bye-bye now.